Fan interpretations can be a blessing or a curse for a character, especially in the FNAF fandom, as you never know when something might unexpectedly change. As I said in my William video, I believe it was the interest in him initially that led to his increased focus as the series went on. That's not to say it's the fans' fault for being interested, obviously. On a more positive fan interpretation, I think it's really cute that everyone's mutually decided that Sunny is just this ball of childish anxiety who would have likely flipped sides if Gregory just gave him an "I'm sorry" donut or something. I can't say if that's canonically accurate, but I would love for it to be. But speaking of Gregory, my point today is about a sort of misconception in the fandom. A belief that I've seen shared by a lot of people that I do not think is fair. There are a lot of people who do not like Gregory. Or, well, that's putting it lightly. It's not people not liking Gregory and more of a pretty significant amount of hatred for him. And even the people who don't outright hate him seem to share the mindset that he was in the wrong for his actions in Security Breach. I have read genuine comments stating that if it wasn't for him, the Pizzaplex would have been fine. That he's the one who came in and ruined it. Though it was a conversation I got in with a friend about Gregory is evil fix and torture or death fix that spurned on this video. And before you get concerned, no. I do not mean everyone. This is likely a vocal minority. I also do not think anyone who dislikes Gregory just because of his personality is in this camp, because that is subjective. Personally, I like Gregory's abrasiveness, but I know that can rub people the wrong way. Like the green side of a sponge. But like the green side of a sponge, that abrasiveness is there for a reason. I'd say the bigger issue is less the hatred and more the mutual agreement across a lot of people that Gregory is in the wrong. And I think this comes from the fandom's interpretations of the animatronics' personalities and their attachment to them. It's because he broke Chica, Monty, and Roxanne. It's because he hurt the animatronics who the fan base loves. This reminds me a lot of the villainization of Frisk, from Undertale. Again, a minority and not the whole fan base, but you might have still noticed it. Frisk appears in the monster world and almost everything sees fit to try to attack them. They can choose to jump through hoops to appease the monsters, or fight back. Because of this and the chosen genocide route, there has been this fandom headcanon surrounding Frisk. You've seen it. The whole Frisk is trying to come to terms with the horrendous guilt they feel with ever hurting any of the monsters, and the good monsters assure Frisk that they aren't a piece of garbage and that they forgive them. Unless you're playing the genocide route, Frisk had every right to defend themselves. But because the monsters are kooky and quirky, this makes Frisk look evil. In Undertale, there is at least the defense that the monsters attack Frisk because they're human. It doesn't condone it, but at least there's a rational explanation for how they can fight a child but also not really be the bad guys. But this is a lot worse in the context of Gregory, who is absolutely going to be killed if he's captured. In the ending where he escapes alone, it is revealed that 9 other children have gone missing. And Burn Trap's cut lines make it pretty clear that Gregory is just the most recent lamb to the slaughter. This isn't a matter of, oh, the animatronics are possessed so Gregory should have just offered them cookies and flirted until he converted them. They absolutely would have killed him, and the only reason Freddy didn't, as was pointed out to me by a viewer on the Glam Rock Freddy video, was because he was in safe mode. If he wasn't, Freddy too would have been attacking him. Gregory is not in the wrong for fighting back. Do I think Gregory's jump from dismantling the animatronics to harvesting their pieces for Freddy was noticeable? Yes, but considering the amount of cuts to the game, we cannot be too sure that this was initially how this was supposed to go. Sometime I'll make an updated video on my Sun and Moon cut content video, but I think there was something more that was going to happen in the basement that led to this. So, we can't just assume that Gregory would have made this decision so easily and suddenly. And if I could play devil's advocate here. Even if he did, I don't exactly blame Gregory. He's been running from these guys for hours and it's clear they're out to hurt him. Him wanting revenge is a very human emotion. Something anyone could feel, and one you might not realize if you would feel or not. Think about it, you can think of how you might feel in that situation, but you cannot think in that situation unless you are in it. I could imagine a lot of people may feel the same way. Especially since Gregory is not attached to the animatronics at all. He doesn't see them as his favorite cartoon characters. We don't even know how long he's been in the Pizzaplex. These are big scary robots. This is exactly why Gregory starts out so hesitant, suspicious, and dismissive of Freddy but then becomes more concerned about him over the course of the game. Of course Gregory would see Freddy as a person, he's the one being nice to him. Son is a hilarious gray area, because Gregory gets inside the daycare and says absolutely nothing to this bouncy son clown. We don't even know if he was annoyed or scared silent, Gregory just bolts as fast as he can. Also, might I say that I love how some people hold Gregory in so much contempt for attacking Roxanne because she has issues with her image. But don't bat an eye when she tells Gregory that nobody's going to miss him. She's outright admitting what they're actually going to be doing to him. And there's a good point. First introductions mean everything, right? Well, the first time he ran into Monty, Chica, and Roxanne, they were chasing him through the basement while making threatening comments. Then Monty was trying to break down the office door, grunting like Sasquatch. Gregory has every right to think that they're dangerous. And the worst part is the double standard. Gregory is considered a gremlin by the fandom. And I mean the headcanon where he's awful and not the cute gremlin nickname that's just a sign of endearment. Gregory is the one who has hateful fanfics written about him. Gregory is considered the problem in the Pizzaplex, and without him everything would be fine. When Vanny's killing children. Vanny is actively kidnapping and killing children and she gets a lighter pass. And you can say, oh, she's being controlled, but we don't know to what extent. Even William Afton, the man who murdered dozens of children, isn't as sourly seen as this child. This kid is a victim, or he is about to be if he does not do something. Emphasis on kid. I have seen people say for other kid characters that they do not like, such as Ash Ketchum and Chris Thorndike, that them being a kid doesn't matter, but it does. Kids should have morality, yes, but they simply aren't emotionally mature enough to be able to work out the complex ramifications of their actions. Or be able to right off the bat compare the morality of destroying robots to destroying people when not even Fazbear Entertainment has put that much together. At the point that Gregory does start breaking the animatronics, he knows that they can be repaired. He's trying to stop them, but there's no direct implication that he thinks that it will kill them and they'll be bye-bye forever. And also, if I can interject with a random tidbit that annoys me with how much it's thrown around for characters in general, Gregory is not a sociopath. He does not show the traits of being a sociopath, and even if he did, he is too young to make a proper diagnosis. Being bratty and getting angry at people who hurt you, especially when you live in a situation where you are not being taken care of properly, is not a sign that you are the problem. Gregory is not the problem and none of this is his fault, because it took the failures of multiple other people to get him into this situation. Children wouldn't be being kidnapped and killed if Fazbear Entertainment had actually done something about Vanny instead of letting her effectively hack her way into a position that at least one higher up said she wasn't qualified for. In fact, the animatronics would not be going haywire either, so Gregory would have had no reason to attack them. Would he have still hid from them? Yes. But assuming that this behavior is caused by the virus, they wouldn't have been nearly as aggressive. And then maybe Gregory really could have befriended them. It is just not an option in this state, and holding a character's morality to the cusp of a non-existent root just causes you to miss out. Miss out on what? The fact that we got a fully rounded character who isn't a sniveling child, or stupid, and is actually active in trying to escape. He's not a dumb horror protagonist, he's actually more complete than most of the characters in the FNAF books. And heck, in the FNAF games. This is, in fact, the first time we know pretty much everything we need to fully understand the character we're playing as. That is a huge step. It took us a few games to know anything about Mike, we only know about Vanessa because of the emails after Help Wanted, and Jeremy and Fritz are pretty much mysteries. With no confirmation if they were both actually Mike. That's not saying they're bad, but that is saying that this is a positive step when it comes to FNAF storytelling. A sign that FNAF can create characters without having them constantly marred in obscurity. It also benefits the relationship between Freddy and Gregory. As I said earlier, Gregory significantly warms up to Freddy over the game. That harshness towards Freddy at the beginning has a reason and a payoff. Also, it was never explored in SB, but I think there could have or should have been an arc where Freddy has the realization that his friends aren't acting right. Ergo why he goes from being reluctant to damage his friends to encouraging Gregory to stop Roxy. I feel like that would have taken some of the supposed fault off of Gregory too. Because at that point Freddy is giving the signal to the audience that this is the only option. People might still not like this option, but it is no longer only Gregory's responsibility to bear. Now I am aware that I am probably preaching to the choir. As I said earlier, I know these feelings towards Gregory aren't held by everyone, but it was significant enough that I felt like talking about it. I hope Gregory appears again as a playable character. I really hope the Gregory android thing isn't true, because I feel like FNAF could benefit from having Gregory just be Gregory. Just be this kid with a hard life who was the one able to fight back. The one who he couldn't kill. He doesn't need to have surprise twist parents. Not when he already has a dad.